I honestly don't know how more British I can get other than drinking a cup of tea while having these. By the way, for American viewers, this is what we call a scone, or if you're posh, you call it a scone. But I don't say grass or glass either. I say grass and glass, so I say scone. Yeah, these are so good, but they're so messy as well. Anyway, I was tagged to do a anything but books booktube tag by two people actually. First of all by Dwayne over at Flipping Pages, and also by David at David's Book Reviews, and I'll link both of their channels down below in the description. Yeah, I do quite like doing these because it means that, you know, you guys can get to know me a bit better, I can get to know you a little bit better, and, you know, it's good to sort of feel like you're starting to make friends on here, which is pretty cool. So yeah, really like that part of it. But yeah, anyway, let's get into this and start with question one, which is name a cartoon that you love. I've got to be honest, this is my favourite question on this list, just because, like, I'm a massive cartoon fan. If you can't tell, I mean, I've got a Pikachu right there, right? So I like cartoons. But no, I've liked cartoons since I was a pretty young age. Like as soon as I could sit up and start watching TV. Some of the old classics that I really enjoyed were things like Catch the Pigeon. Tom and Jerry, used to love Tom and Jerry. Like, you know, even these cartoons like Tom and Jerry that don't have any dialogue really, I used to love. Favourite though, which sort of is tough because there's so many over the years, but I'd say at least in recent history, probably Avatar: The Last Airbender.
We need to get to Omashu. No sidetracks, no worms, and definitely no rainbows.
Whoa, sounds like someone's got a case of destination fever. You're worried too much about where you're going.
You gotta focus less on the where and more on the going.
Shoe.
Sokka's right. We need to find King Boomy so Aang can learn earthbending somewhere safe.
Well, sounds like you're headed to Omashu.
And that's just because the story is incredible. The world building is incredible. And actually, I do have a couple of books up here, if I can grab them, which are based in the Avatar universe. That have sort of fairly recently come out, and they'll be on my TBR before the end of the year, I imagine. So there's those. But yeah, the world of Avatar is incredible. If you haven't watched it, watch it because it's on Netflix. I'd say the first few episodes at least are a little bit of a slow burn, and you might not sort of see its full potential until you get a little bit further into the first series, and then things really pick up in the second series, which is my favourite. Contains one of my favourite characters, Toph, who's amazing. So yeah, check Avatar out. But yeah, favourite cartoon, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Question 2 is, what is your favourite song right now? And it's a bit weird with music for me. I've never been sort of like a huge, like, hyper fan on music or anything like that. I've only really ever been to like 2 or 3 gigs, and one of them was like was Flight of the Conchords, which I see more of like a comedy gig more than a music gig, even though you can sort of bop to some of the music. But yeah, what I'm listening to at the moment a lot of is a band called, it's a Japanese band called Polka Dot Stingray. And the reason I really like those at the moment is they remind me of another Japanese band that I used to listen to back in college and university called Asian Kung Fu Generation. And even though the main vocalist in Polka Dot Stingray is female, I think they've got a very similar sort of sound. So yeah, they're on Spotify as well. So check them out. And the song that I really like of theirs at the moment, that I listen to quite a lot, is called Telecaster Stripes. I'll probably leave a link to the music video for that in the description, as well as maybe show some things around here. Question 3 is, what could you do for hours that isn't reading? And that's quite a simple one for me. Video games and TV, basically, like Netflix movies or anything like that. I literally just spent 3.5 hours last night watching The Irishman on Netflix. It's a good film, really enjoyed that. But yeah, video games and TV, not much else to say. Question 4 is, what is something you love to do that your followers would be surprised by? And this is quite difficult because it's, I think this might be more of a thing if like I had more followers, I guess, that knew me for a longer period of time, sort of, and I suppose then it'd be something that you kind of probably wouldn't want to talk about anyway, but I guess like another aspect of sort of things that I'm interested in at the very least is, one of the things I really love to do is go around the UK visiting castles. And yeah, I just love visiting them. There's no two that are exactly the same. I love visiting both ruins and restored castles. They're all beautiful to me, and sort of there's something special about sort of standing in a castle that was built 1,000 years ago and sort of thinking like, who has stood here before, like kings, queens, at which eras, you know, during the Tudor period, during the War of the Roses, or beyond even that, like, you know, William the Conqueror and things like that. It's incredible. But yeah, I fairly recently started a Instagram account for showing places that I've visited. I've actually started to run out of photos now, so hopefully once things start winding down, and actually I do need to get a driving license as well, so I can actually just get up and go wherever I want, whenever I want, so I can actually start taking more photos of places like that, because I really enjoy it. Yeah, just love the history more than anything, so yeah, there's that. Question 5 is, what is your favourite unnecessarily specific thing to learn about? And sorry, by the way, I'm just checking my notes down here, sort of thing. But this is kind of related to my last question. I love ancient history. Yeah, pretty much all of it. There's just a lot of it to sort of pick from, which is great. I'd love to learn more about ancient Egypt, but currently I'm sort of very into sort of Greek and Norse mythology and things like that. In fact, I've got some podcasts that I listen to, and I think, and I'll correct this in the description below when I link them. I think they're called Ancient Greece Uncovered and the Iliad podcast, or the Trojan War podcast, I think, actually. But I'll link both of those below. Ancient Greece Uncovered or Unchanged, I'm not sure what it's called, but I'll correct myself when I link below. That one's more of a sort of almost like a documentary type style podcast, where they talk about sort of how researchers go about discovering forgotten languages and how they actually translate them, even though they're dead to us. They do it by knowing sort of certain names of people and things like that, and if they sort of see sort of several combinations of letters pop up in the same places throughout a piece of text, they use that as sort of like a guide to sort of how to figure out the rest of the text, which is pretty cool. It's very interesting. Definitely recommend that podcast for anyone that's interested in sort of ancient languages and ancient Greece, the sort of Bronze Age as well. And the Trojan War podcast is more of a sort of, the guy takes stories from the Iliad and sort of condenses them down into sort of like almost how they would have been told back in the day. And he even sort of explains why he wants to do that. He likes the oral tradition of sort of passing on stories, and he sort of, each episode sort of talks about one part of the Trojan War, and there's quite a lot to it. So it's really worth listening to, because like the stories are fascinating. Some of them are just plain weird, but yeah, a lot of them are really good. So yeah, check those out. Question 6 is, what is something unusual that you know how to do? Not much, to be honest. Like, so there's one thing that I can do, which is a little bit embarrassing for me to do, but let's do it anyway. Is basically, I can make like a sort of quacking sound with my mouth. Sort of like Donald Duck back in the day. Actually, no, I think Donald Duck actually sounds like it now, but I can't really make any word sounds, just the quacking bit. So it basically goes like so there you go. You made me do that, so thanks. Question 7 is, name something that you've made in the last year. And so I suppose I can show this while I'm speaking in the edit, but basically I was playing God of War again earlier this year, and one of the things that I really like to do is translate the Norse runes, but it's kind of difficult, really. Like on all of the promo packaging and stuff, the Norse runes sort of translate between our alphabet and the Norse alphabet quite easily. So like A, you'll find a version of A in the Norse alphabet and things like that. So there's a counterpart to each one. There are some duplicates, like I think W and V are sort of the same character, but if anything, that makes it a little easier. But in all of the promo material, the words that they translate to the Norse runes actually translate to English words, so they're quite easy to translate. But there's a lot of Norse runes within the game that translate to actually old Nordic words, and it inspired me, because I'm a web developer by trade, and it inspired me to make a simple app that basically converts sort of our alphabet to Norse runes, and vice versa as well. So you can sort of look at different Norse runes and sort of try to translate what it says. And then down the side, and I'll try and show this in the video, I've got like a sort of the start of a dictionary, an Old Norse dictionary, so you can work on sort of translating them to and from. There's definitely more work that I need to do on it, but it's a thing that I've made. And actually this sort of kind of answers question 8 as well, which is a recent personal project, which is the same thing essentially for me. It's the Norse runes thing. I'm really interested in that kind of stuff, to be able to sort of take something that is hard to translate and then be able to sort of let people do it themselves, sort of thing. I find that fascinating. So yeah, there's that. Hopefully people find that interesting. And I'll post a link to my Norse Runes app in the description as well. So yeah, check it out if you want to have a look. It's not complete, but it's getting there. There's a few things that I still actually want to do to it. So yeah, if you've got any suggestions, let me know. Question 9 is, tell us something that you think about often. And it's quite a difficult one really for me, because I don't really want to get too political on here, but at the same time, like, a lot of what I think about is things like automation, for example, and how that's going to affect jobs in the future. And part of me is a little bit optimistic, because we seem to have sort of dealt with it fairly well with the Industrial Revolution. I say fairly well, not really. It's not a solved problem or anything like that. But you know, when computers and machines are able to do so much more than they are right now, especially self-driving cars, I think that's actually probably the bigger one, because that's going to put a lot of truck drivers, taxi drivers, you name it. There's going to be a lot of people out of work. But you know, what are the jobs that are going to take their place for those people? You know, I don't think. I think the type of jobs are going to start dying out. And actually, like, it's a big worry of mine, actually. I think, personally, I would love to see something like a universal basic income, for people to sort of do whatever they want with. And, you know, I think you'd see a lot more creativity in the world, and a lot more happiness, actually. But yeah, that's something that I tend to think about quite a lot. So, there's that. On to question 10, which is, tell us something that is your favourite. I'm going to give you my favourite city, which is Edinburgh. And that's because myself and my fiance have been to Edinburgh like 3-4 times now, and every time we've absolutely enjoyed it. It's a beautiful city. There's beautiful countryside around there. You know, it's not a long drive up to places like Glencoe, which are stunning. And actually, while I'm talking about this, if I've not already, I'll stick some photos up so that you can see some of the things that we saw in our holidays. But yeah, I absolutely love Edinburgh and Scotland in general. The people are just so nice. So yeah, that's a thing that's my favourite. So yeah, there you go. And question 11, which I think is the final question, is say something that pops into your head. And I think, like, a lot of what I've been thinking about sort of today has been sort of about, I'm currently reading the Witcher book Sword of Destiny, and I've just been thinking a lot about sort of making my videos a little bit better than just sort of me talking to the screen. Like, I'm going to do it for this one a little bit as well, where I sort of cut away to certain photos and things like that. So I just want to sort of up my game a little bit, even if it means sort of videos take a little bit longer to come out. I just want to make them a bit better for people to watch, keep people coming back as well. But yeah, it's as simple as that, really. So now it's up to me to tag some other people to do this tag. And honestly, like, there aren't too many people that actually I have a huge rapport with at the moment. It'd be nice to sort of get chatting with more people, but honestly, Dwayne and David both sort of talk to me quite regularly, and they've already done this. So I think I'm going to tag just one person, and that's going to be John from Hey Y'all Listen Up. I'm personally intrigued to see what your favourite cartoon is, so yeah, really interested to see what you've got to say there. So yeah, John from Hey Y'all Listen Up. I'll also put his channel down in the description as well if you want to check him out. Yeah, so that's it for me. So as always, like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.